All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and bows to those who are here. Lovely to see you all. And I feel like I need to give a disclaimer or something that I have a cold, and so I might be mentally stumbly and fuzzy, but we'll see what happens. Who knows? Uh, so this talk tonight is inspired by, I don't know, it was a short article or maybe it was extracted from a talk that Thich Nhat Hanh had given. So these teachings are largely inspired by that piece, which I don't have anymore. I'm looking at the piles. Um, yeah, so bows to Thich Nhat Hanh. Some of us, either from sitting longer retreat or just by good fortune, karma, have had the opportunity to notice the mind and how there's always a movie reel playing across the mind, like constantly. And a lot of people come to meditation and think that they're coming to meditation to stop the mind or clear the mind, and then they feel like they're not doing it right when it's like, that's, no. Uh, Most of the time, it's hard to notice because we're in the movie. We're so in the story all the time of what's going on. We're just like one of the actors in this constantly evolving play or movie. And one of the aspects of this meditation practice is that it gives us that little bit of space to be able to recognize the movie that's playing and to maybe not be the central character for a few moments sometimes. Um, and that's a wonderful and beautiful thing. Just have a little bit of space from it and to just see, oh, there's a, I was really caught in that and I didn't even know. I was just in it. And this little bit of space is really freeing, really freeing. Um, so this practice is like sitting a few rows back in a movie theater and just that bit of perspective to just watch, oh, big story playing out right now. Look what's moving through. Oh, there's that familiar character again. Oh yeah, we're watching this rerun again, again. And I find that image is really helpful often. Just that little bit of sitting back and seeing what's been playing out. Um, what story reel has been rolling by moment. Thich Nhat Hanh and others sometimes refer to consciousness like a house with a basement. There's like the ground floor is like the main living area, which is he calls mind consciousness. And this below ground basement is sometimes called store consciousness or seed consciousness, the subconscious. Um, And we also, of course, have our unconscious mind, and then we also have the cellular, the cellular impact that's happened to all of the cells in our body through all the infinite variables, even generations back that have impacted our genes, which we science, science. Thank you, science, and thank you, Buddha. Um, and so we, through these models and also through our direct experience, everything that we have ever experienced, smelled, seen, touched, tasted, thought, heard. I probably missed one there, but it's going to take too much mental activity to figure that out. So everything we've ever experienced or perceived is stored in the form of a seed in this store consciousness or seed consciousness level, this basement level. Thich Nhat Hanh also referred to it like films, and that there's this archive of every imaginable kind of film stored. He said on video cassette. You could tell the age of that teaching. Um, Now it would be a flash drive or something. So, and then, so everything we've experienced is in this store consciousness. And then upstairs in the living area of the house, in the conscious mind, we're sitting in a chair and just watching these films as they're brought up from the basement. And certain movies, certain reels are very frequent reruns. Perhaps it's the fear film, the judgment or the anger, despair, or joy. What is the most frequent thing that's running for you these days? I know what mine are. And sorry. Often what's running is without our choosing. It's just this habitual loop. And a big part of our practice is about choice and choosing what we want to pay attention to, choosing how we're going to pay attention to whatever's coming up. So every time we view a certain story, either by habit or by choice, it moves up on the playlist. I'm gonna have to take a drink of water. One sec. All right. I'm back. Okay, so down in this store consciousness, there's certain reels that play more often. And then each time we view, or that storyline is running through, it gets moved to the front of the line, like the frequent players part of the all these infinite store consciousness stories. And so then it's going to return again to the storehouse stronger every time it runs through and is not seen with awake awareness and mindfulness. Then it returns into store consciousness in a stronger form. often the films, if we want to use this analogy, or the stories that are playing through the mind, um, are often triggered by outside triggers. What someone else says or does, or largely what we are watching or reading. And a big part of the wise effort is protecting the sense doors, being attentive to and careful about what we are paying attention to, and is it fueling wisdom and uh, skillfulness? Is it onward leading? Or is it, fueling a habit state of mind that is less skillful or unskillful? Um, so that's something that might be up for lots of us at this time, as things are more and more aflame. A really interesting thing, I find it quite fascinating, is sometimes we might be able to get a little bit of perspective to notice that there's always a central character, the same central character in all of these stories, and it's always me. So even when you're just there's thinking about someone else and how we want them to be, or how we want this to be, or how uh, it should have been, is still, from my perspective, it's still, I'm the central character all the time. That can be quite disconcerting. Quite, oh my gosh, boring as well. Very boring when you realize, like, oh my gosh, can you just stop trying to control the world all the time? I remember asking my teacher, when does this stop? All this self-referencing, like just I, all the time. And he said, when you really get sick of it. And I could see that there's still a lot of attachment to my views and my judgments and my position and my everything, I'm still really attached to it all. And so it's sticky. Um, so practicing mindfulness in part means recognizing each seed that's arising from store consciousness, recognizing what tapes are playing. And that requires this little bit of space to be able to just see, oh, that's up again. Okay. Or just that bit of perspective to recognize that's something from this store or seed consciousness, subconscious, that's playing over and over, or what is playing at any given time that we're practicing mindfulness. And as Thich Nhat Hanh said, importantly, he said, the quality of our life depends on the seeds in the store consciousness. The quality of our life depends on these seeds. So as I said, the ones that are frequently playing are going back into store consciousness stronger, bumped up to the front of the line. And uh, that affects the quality of our life. And we do have some volition, some cultivation in what's playing. And the teaching is to water, to be intentional, volitional intention to water the most wholesome seeds. in this store consciousness. He calls their seeds, or he's using an analogy of films here, but to water the most wholesome seeds is very much what this practice is about, with our precepts and values and wise efforts, wise action, wise speech, etc., the whole of the Eightfold Path. Um, because as we water the wholesome seeds and give attention to them and cultivate them and mm, call them up and practice with this wisdom, then those seeds will return to store consciousness stronger rather than just the habit reels that are maybe not so skillful. Yeah. We were talking earlier about a teacher, a well-loved teacher, Pascal Auclair, and I remember him teaching about this self, the view of self, and described it this way, and of sitting back in, in the middle of the theater, a few rows back at least, to just see the story of self that's playing out. And that little bit of space I found was very helpful. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I think, yeah, that's all. I had to pause and see if there was more. Um, so we'll have a practice now and see if we can notice and pay attention to this. All right. Hmm. So taking time to settle into your posture. Hmm. Feel yourself sighing back and down. We spend a lot of our day leaning forward into the next moments and just feeling the back of your skull, the spine, the tailbone, pelvis, the feet. You might actually feel either just a slight energetic shift or actually a physical movement into resting back, and perhaps feeling the spine like a plumb line with that weighted pendulum at the sacrum. Feeling ourselves breath by breath, like grains of sand in an hourglass settling down. Feeling any habit areas of tension in the muscles, softening with a little bit of awareness and care. Feeling the embodiment of a strong back and a soft front. And as we're cultivating our intention to be skillful and cultivating wholesome qualities, we'll take time now to either recite the precepts or reflect on your own values and ethics that guide your heart and mind in how you move through this world in relationship with yourself and others. So these might include these trainings to refrain from causing harm and taking life, to refrain from taking more than is freely offered to us, to refrain from speaking falsely and harshly, to refrain from causing harm with our sexuality and sensuality, and to refrain from a lack of mindfulness or heedlessness from intoxicants. If there's other values in your own words that you feel as you sense of uprightness, of strong back, strong centeredness. So you feel centered and energized and relaxed. We'll choose an anchor that becomes like the screen or the canvas on which we can watch the movements of the mind from the place of awake awareness. So your anchor or canvas might be the breath. If working with the breath isn't helpful for you, you could choose feeling the sensations of the hands. For these next few minutes, just give your attention a lot of brightness and energy to really pay attention to that anchor so that it becomes more established. Feeling all the sensations of your hands or of your breath arising and passing. See what it's like to cultivate a little bit of space from the stories that are constantly unfolding. So you might even feel that sense of sitting a few rows back. We're not dissociating or separating from ourselves and embodied awareness in the present moment. And this bit of space of awake awareness, just being able to watch without being so um, wrapped up in the story. Just see, oh, this is moving through, this is arising and passing, this familiar story or this new fantasy, just with a bit of space and let it just move through like a bubble in a stream. After a time of having that bit of space of observing the movements of the mind without being so wrapped up in it, sometimes we might get a glimpse of who the central protagonist, the central narrator, commentator is always there. In these last several minutes of the practice, we could choose now to cultivate the skillful, wholesome, onward leading seeds in the store consciousness by giving intention. We can cultivate metta practice. You could do this just with the felt experience of intentions for happiness and safety, wellness and ease. Or you can use the phrases, may I be happy, may I be safe, may I be well, and may I be peaceful. Each time we cultivate these skillful seeds, they return to the store consciousness at the front of the playlist. At times, if you've noticed that you've been pulled into another storyline, you can just rest back, have that space, or choose what you want to cultivate by skillfully replacing with metta or just with awake awareness that sees. Any merit and benefit of our cultivation of wisdom and compassion be offered for the well-being, the care for all beings everywhere. Mm. Brent, thanks for practicing with us. If you were sharing this practice on the YouTube channel, and I hope it's of benefit. Good night.